Hey there, we have Morgan back with us and we are going to be doing a Tinder video today because you guys seem to really love those.
I don't know why.
So basically we are going to be doing 5 tips on how to avoid an awful Tinder date, which I've been on plenty of those to know at least how to get into one.
I haven't had any really awful Tinder dates at all, to be honest, but I'm pretty good at avoiding them, I think.
So you have both sides, awful and decently good ones. Whatever. We made a list though of 5 tips, so we are gonna get right into that.
Okay, tip number 1 is to meet them in a public place. Do not make it where it's just you and this stranger that you're meeting for the first time somewhere private where they can brutally murder you. That's just not acceptable. It's silly.
Sketchy.
It's sketchy, and it just makes sense to meet somewhere public. It's not hard. You're not gonna like look stupid by asking them to meet somewhere public, and if it's a nice person, then they should understand and they should be fine with it, and they should agree that you should probably meet in person because they probably don't want to die either.
Right.
So
I think keyword here is also stranger. I mean, this isn't someone that you've ever like hung out with. It's not someone you've been to school with your whole life. So I think it's very acceptable, like Morgan said, to meet them in public and have that not be a huge issue for them. I've had guys on Tinder that like will ask me out on dates and then get mad when I tell them I don't want to go to their house for the first time. Obviously probably had different intentions than I did.
No.
Yeah.
When it comes to Tinder, I have a very heavy mom role play.
Yeah.
I've told Britt before, she's like my teenage daughter that gives me little heart attacks when she goes on her dates. But I specifically actually remember the guy that got upset with you about it, and I
didn't end up going out with him. He did have a pug though, so I wanted to.
It's not worth it. The pug is not worth it.
The pug might be worth it.
The pug's not real. It's probably a setup. You can have a dog.
Also, a way to avoid being stuck in a strange place with a strange person is to drive yourself. I have not taken that advice really on any of them, but I always wish. I'm like, I wish I had my car right now and I don't have to beg this person to take me back to mine.
No, you need an escape route. If you want to get out of there, then you need to have the ability to get out of there.
Yeah.
And you should not leave it so that you're relying on that person who may or may not be the worst person ever to take you home, which means that once it's time for you to go home, you could easily be stuck in a car, a very small space, with this terrible person that you want to get away from for the next like 15, 20 minutes.
15 hours?
15 hours? He might be taking you on a cross-country road trip.
That would be a pretty epic first date.
It would be an awful first date, assuming that you hate this person.
That's true. That would be an awful first date.
And if you like fell madly in love, then
maybe
California it is, but
time makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe we all really just need to take the advice that we're giving now and go on a road trip for the first date.
Aren't you guys so glad I'm here? Because Brittany is backtracking and telling you that you need to go on a road trip with this person. It also doesn't hurt to just make sure that someone knows that you're going on this date. I mean, just give a friend a shout out and be like, I'm going on a first date tonight and may need a bailout plan, you never know. Or someone to know if you go missing.
Yes. I love how we're taking this to the extreme here.
I personally, as you know, am someone who assumes the worst in everybody. I am constantly thinking that people are probably going to kill me. Brittany will probably kill me someday. I have a very murdery mind, and I just think I'm just always prepared
for the worst.
For the worst, which isn't bad all the time. It can be bad, but usually it's not bad.
Also want to point out that we don't take this like super seriously. Like we're not on Tinder assuming we're going to find our husband or wife, whatever. Yeah, so I know like in a few of my other videos, a lot of people were leaving comments like, oh, you take this so seriously, like get off Tinder. It's fun.
Tinder's a blast.
Yes.
I matched with macaroni and cheese one day.
I
and
remember
it was
that.
the greatest day of my life. Like, I've never felt more fulfilled and better about myself than the day that I matched with macaroni. Because I do love macaroni.
There's some really funny people on there. Funny photos. I screenshot stuff all day long. I love matching with pugs. Technically, there's a person with the pug, but really I'm just matching the pug.
Which is the perfect segue into the next tip of...
Don't swipe for a pretty face or a pretty dog face.
Yeah, in Brittany's case, look at the person holding the puppy.
Yeah. You can learn a lot swiping through more than the first photo.
It is amazing when I'm like, I will literally click on someone thinking that they are the most attractive person and swipe to the next photo and suddenly they
What if
aren't.
morphed into something?
Yeah, like those
completely
are two different people, but they're not when you look closely. And I mean, people will have their first photo be an old photo,
Yes.
and the next one will be recent. So look deeper into it before committing.
Bios are big too. I can learn a lot about a person just reading the first sentence, knowing if they use proper grammar, periods, anything really.
My favorite are ones like, I'll think that the person is so attractive that I actually get like nervous to read their bio, and then you'll read it and it's just like,
ETF,
yeah, just things that are like looking for a hookup or
married, want to
This-
have fun on the side.
yeah, me and my girlfriend. Are you into that? Like, it's just so sad. Which is cool. I mean, some people are
Yeah.
actually into that. We're not judging you, but if you're not, then make sure that you've prepared yourself for what it is that you're going into.
And if you are someone that's into that, like say you just really want to hook up with someone, it's okay to put that in your bio.
Let
And
someone know.
yeah, and you'll probably match with people that are wanting similar interests as you.
Also, it doesn't hurt to connect with them on other forms of social media before you actually meet the person. As we all know, you don't want to get catfished, so Snapchat's a really good way to avoid that. You can kind of casually make sure that they're the exact same person without having to like Skype with them or FaceTime with them, which could be kind of awkward if you don't know them really well. But Instagram's a good segue into someone's life and how they are outside of Tinder.
Tip number 3, make sure your photos are up to date, because really, like, you're expecting that from them. They're gonna be expecting that from you too. I don't know how many times, actually I do know how many times, it's been 2 times I've been on a date with someone and they literally look nothing like their profile photos. One of them didn't even have hair anymore. He went completely bald and forgot to update the photo on that, clearly from like a good 10 years ago.
I mean, I know it sucks to like, maybe you've packed on a couple of pounds, but you want that person to like you for you and not like you for who you were 20 years ago. So,
I mean, because ultimately you want to meet up with that person, probably, maybe not, I don't know. And you want them to like you as they pictured you.
next, do not be super quick to just meet everybody that you match with on Tinder. If you think that you want to meet somebody, then take the time to get to know them prior to that a little bit. I would say only like meet with people that you really feel a connection with. You don't just go
Meeting
on
to
coffee
find that
dates 3
connection.
times a day with every single person that you match with. That's a lot of coffee.
Although coffee dates are a good way if you don't know them too well in the first place to meet someone, because it's very like, it's fast, like you don't have to stay the whole time.
Yeah. Just drive yourself. Get a chai.
Get a chai. And then tip number 5 to hopefully avoid an awful date is don't be afraid to say no and don't give in to pressure.
If you don't want to meet up with somebody, then that's fine. You don't have to. And don't, like, if you say that you want to meet in public and they're really insisting on hanging out at their house, if that makes you uncomfortable, then don't do it. It's okay. You're not less cool or like...
Some people will try to make you feel like that too.
You're not lame for not
No.
going to their house. You don't have to do that. It's not necessarily the safest decision anyways. And I mean, it's just you doing what's best for you, and that's what you need to put as your number 1 priority. You.
Don't be afraid to tell the guy making out with your face. Stop that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's
and
gross.
Just all, like, don't be afraid to say no to a lot of things Brittany did on her worst Tinder date. You don't have to do
You don't
those
have
things.
to.
He doesn't have to drive you.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't have to drive you to his house.
No.
He doesn't have to take his dog out, whatever that was.
I'm just like repressing all of it. It didn't happen.
It's okay. Never happened.
Never
Didn't
happened.
have to kill his coworkers.
Basically, this is lighthearted. Like this, it's not cut and dry.
No. There's exceptions to every rule.
Every rule.
You might actually know that person. You went to school with them a while ago. If you trust them and feel like you know them, then go for it.
Yeah.
You think it's the love of your life? Bam. Because sometimes love can happen on Tinder.
Sometimes, yeah. Don't let people tell you that Tinder is just for hooking up.
Or any dating.
Or
sites
anything.
for that matter.
No, I've had so many like really positive feedback of people saying they met like their boyfriend, they met their husband on there. Like that's stuff that happens, but it's also a good way to even meet friends. It's not all about hooking up or meeting the love of your life. Although if that happens and that's what you want, that's awesome.
We just think that people should be smart and safe about it. And there's a way to avoid having just the worst time of your entire life.
And if you do have the worst time of your entire life, you should definitely make a video on it because those videos are awesome to watch. Also, leave us in the comments below if you want to see more like dating videos, Tinder videos with Morgan and I, because we do have different perspectives on it, and we are both on the apps and whatnot. So I feel like it could be fun. So other than that, I think we, or at least I, will see you really soon in another video. Bye.
Bye.